بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to have our 10th and final session of introduction to Kalam. We finished last night Ayatollah Mutahhari's introduction to Kalam, and inshallah tonight we want to refer to some of the contemporary issues in Kalam. There is a discussion whether we should call this new Kalam, or in Farsi we say Kalam Jadid, or we should say Masail Jadid Kalami, means new issues in Kalam. I think the best is to say new issues in Kalam, because it's not a new Kalam, it's not a new science, it's the same discipline, but we have to address also contemporary questions. Some of these contemporary questions, actually, after careful consideration, they appear to be not very new. On the surface, they look new, but we have had them. Many questions actually repeat themselves in the course of history. Some philosophers believe that every philosophical issue is indeed something that goes back to the time of Plato and Aristotle and Socrates, and they say all philosophies are like footnotes on early philosophy. In any case, this is the same discipline of Kalam, but we have to deal with these issues. Alhamdulillah, in the Hawzas, like Hawza of Qom, we have people who specialize in Kalam, we have institutes for Kalam, we have journals for Kalam, many dissertations on Kalam, so it's a very now vital and vibrant, alhamdulillah, field of study. So I thought maybe I can refer quickly to some of the questions today and a little explanation, but each of them need more discussion. In 2007, I had a course in Islamic Center, which is available online, about contemporary issues in Islamic thought. That's available. We talked about, for example, religion and freedom, reason and religion, about feminism, secularism, pluralism, interfaith. So that course is available online. One of the issues is, what is religion? Before I go further, I would like also to draw your attention to the difference between Kalam and philosophy of religion, because they look very similar, but these are two different things. Philosophy of religion is a rational study of religions without necessarily adhering to any religion. A philosopher of religion maybe have no religion, and maybe they have religion. And normally in philosophy of religion, the approach is external approach, and they look at religion from outside, and they deal with different religions at the same time. So for example, they talk about Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, from an external perspective. And if you go deeply into the discussions, you see their main focus is on two things: whether religious claims are meaningful or not. Secondly, whether they involve contradiction or they are consistent. Because from outside, there is not that much you can do. You just can say, okay, we have a quick checklist. This idea doesn't make sense. This idea, for example, is self-contradictory. But they cannot really discuss further because it's external view. They are not talking about, for example, this religion is correct or that religion is correct. In philosophy of religion, they have raised issues that now a Muslim or a Christian mutakallim theologian has to address. So if you open a book on philosophy of religion and open a book on contemporary issues in science of Kalam, you find the topics very much overlap. But the approach is different. The approach is very much different. In Kalam, we are trying to either explain or argue for or defend religious position. You remember I told you in the first session, Kalam has three major tasks. Either wants to explain concepts. What is Isma, for example? What is Wahy? Or argues for their truth, or if there are objections, tries to defend against the objections. But philosopher of religion may not have any of these concerns. They just want to address this and explain things from their perspective. So, one of the issues which is very much discussed is what is religion? Maybe in the past, Mutakallimin didn't need to talk about this, what is religion, because Mutakallimin were talking about Islam, and they didn't need to talk about other religions, let alone to talk about things that are not religions, But nowadays, they have to discuss what is religion. And if you want to define religion in the way that it can be only applied to Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, Abrahamic religions, monotheistic religions, where there is personal God, it's easier. But if you want to define religion in the way that can include Abrahamic religions and also Hinduism, that they don't have personal God like us and there is a kind of pantheism, it's different. And if you want to go further and even include Buddhism, that some versions of it, they don't at least make reference to God, then it becomes different. And then if you want to add to this, some new forms of spirituality, then becomes very much stressed. Therefore, some people say, like John Hick, in his book, Philosophy of Religion, he says we cannot find a common definition for all these religions. It's very difficult. Because even if we say they belong to a transcendent reality, maybe not all of them believe in transcendent reality. So some people have introduced a theory which is called family resemblance. Are you familiar with family resemblance? Family resemblance means that members have always something common, but not exactly the same thing. So you cannot say all the members of this family share 2-3 things. For example, all of them, their eyes look the same, or all of them, for example, their mouth look the same. No, you cannot say like this. But some of them, their eyes look like each other. For example, these two and these two. But then this one and two other people, their mouth, look like each other. So overall, there are similarities, but none of these similarities are common among all of them. So religions also, some people say they have a kind of family resemblance. Means something between Islam and Christianity, Judaism, but something, for example, between Islam maybe and Hinduism, maybe something between Buddhism and Christianity. So they try to look like, because religion has become very vague. What is religion? And some people say, maybe even Marxism is a religion. Some people say maybe now football is a religion, So they have, so much stretched that it has become very ambiguous. What is our understanding of religion? So here, I am not saying what I'm saying is definitely what every Shia must accept, because people can, have different ideas, and this is something that still we are discussing. What I understand from the Quran, if you want to follow the Quranic concept, and I have some lectures about concept of religion in the Quran, you can find it. It seems that the Quran uses religion in two ways. We have true religion, which is a religion of submission to God. You surrender yourself to God, submit yourself to God. Unfortunately, in some parts of the world, now they have difficulty even with using the term submission. In some parts of the Western world, we have, discussions. We find even believers, they don't find it easy to say we want to submit to God, and they feel it's, not acceptable. So they say surrender. Then once I said surrender, then even some of them with surrender also they had issues, because unfortunately, little by little, even from inside, we are becoming secularized, So religion in the Quran is to submit your face to God. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ دِينًا مِمَّنْ أَسْلَمَ وَجْهَهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَهُوَ مُحْسِنٌ. You submit your face to God. Ibrahim alayhi salam had this religion. Yaqub, Ismail, Musa, Isa, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, all had this religion. Then the Quran says there is another religion, and this is the religion of people who refuse to submit themselves to God, submit their face to God. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ لَا أَعْبُدُ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ. I don't worship what you worship, and you don't worship what I worship, and I am not worshipper of what you worship. لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. Okay, you have your faith, I have my faith. But the beauty is this. If you look at this carefully, indeed, they don't have faith. Those pagans. I'm not talking about any non-Muslim, because many non-Muslims are believers in this sense. They are Muslim in this sense. And many Muslims might not be Muslims in this sense. So we cannot say we are Muslim like Ibrahim. Maybe there are Muslims who are not Muslim. Maybe there are non-Muslims who are Muslim. It's not a matter of name. It's a matter of reality. But there are some people that they claim they follow religion. For example, the pagans, like Abu Lahab. But in reality, they had no religion. Because religion is to submit yourself to the will of someone higher than you. But if you use something to justify your own selfish desires, you look like a religious person, but you are God of yourself. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَى. Have you seen the one who has taken as his Lord his own whims, his own desires, Lord desires? So, we can say we have two religions. Religion of the truth and religion of falsehood. But in reality, it turns to be, we have true religion and false religion. And false religion is not religion. This is why in the Quran you don't have religion in plural form. We don't have adyan in the Quran. Why? Because either you submit to absolute truth, or you say, I am the absolute truth. Many people say, I am the absolute truth. Everyone should, work for me. Everyone should serve me. I do what I like, but you must, serve me. Means you are center of this religion. You are the God of this religion. So, a true religion must be built around God, who is absolute truth, absolute beauty, absolute knowledge. And people, by getting closer to this absolute truth, which means what? You become more truthful, you become more knowledgeable, you become more beautiful, more kind, more merciful, more determined, because he has absolute willpower. You have to be also developing your willpower. So getting closer to God means that you become more and more godly. This is religion. Otherwise, you are just, wasting your time maybe. That you think you are worshipping an idol or whatever, but you are not making any progress. The next question is, how religion started? Some people say religion started because people were ignorant. They didn't know how to explain things, and they attributed everything to God. Yeah? For example, they didn't know how rain comes. They said God is sending rain. They didn't know how a child is born. They said, God has given me a child. When people were ignorant, they attributed everything to God and they made this a religion. But little by little, philosophy, and then after philosophy, science took place of religion. We don't need religion. Religion is caused by ignorance. Or some people say religion is caused by fear. People who are fearful, they are afraid of, punishment and, going to hell. They worship in order to get some security. Or some people say religion is created by rich people and powerful people to deceive poor people and, tell them, don't uprise, don't do anything, be patient and you will have heaven. Let us, use you, enslave you, you will have, heaven. So some people say religion is caused in this way. Our answer is, it is true that maybe some people out of jahl, they have gone to religion. Maybe in the course of history there have been people who were ignorant, or some people are fearful, or maybe some people were deceived by rich people. But it's not that religion as a whole is result of this. If you look at prophets, messengers, imams, holy religious figures, you find actually these are not fearful people. You find someone like Rasulullah, he was the bravest of the brave. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam, with all his bravery, no one doubts Ali's bravery. But what does he say in Nahj al-Balagha? He says, كُنَّا إِذَا احْمَرَّ الْبَأْسِ اتقينا برسول الله. When the fight was very fierce and very severe, we Muslims used to take shelter, with the Prophet. اتقينا برسول الله means Rasulullah was the closest person to the enemy. Such a man has no fear. Amirul Mu'minin has no fear. He has no kind of shield on the back, because he said, I never, turn my back to enemy. I don't need. So, you cannot say these people worship God because they are fearful people. If all people of the world, fight them, they have no fear. Or you say, they were deceived by rich people. Can anyone who reads Nahjul Balagha, especially Nahjul Balagha, can anyone who reads Nahjul Balagha think that Ali is a spokesman for powerful and rich people and tries to tell people, to obey them? Nahjul Balagha is the book of justice, social justice. Is actually a kind of revolutionary book to some extent. And Ali alayhi salam, in his 5 years of caliphate, he was very much against any favoritism, any misuse when it comes to power or money or whatever. The same prophet, all the prophets, imams, all religious, really true religious people, they never took the side of the tyrants. They never took the side of the, people who are only interested in money. And when you say ignorance, yes, maybe some people were ignorant, but you know that religion is more observed by actually scholars and scientists. Quran says those who have knowledge are expected to have more commitment. إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء. Ulama have fear of awe towards God. Ulama. Or Allah in the Quran mentions ayat, signs, and then He says وَمَا يَعْقِلُهَا إِلَّا الْعَالِمُونَ. Only alimun, those who have knowledge, can understand properly these ayat. You see, Islam did not make people of Arab Peninsula ignorant, illiterate, ask them, to be, ignoring science. No, actually, Islam took people who had no literacy, no knowledge, no library, no school. So quickly, Islam turned these people into pioneers, even in empirical sciences, even in chemistry, in physics, in optometry, in many astronomy, and in mathematics, in philosophy. There was a time that the most precious work you could do in Europe was to read books of Muslims and explain to other people what Muslims have said about medicine or about science. So religion is not something which is caused by ignorance. And then if you study further, you realize actually God was not something to replace natural explanation. Science explains how, and religion explains why. They never conflict. How does rain come? Science explains. But why rain comes? What is the cause of this? And what is the purpose of this? This is you learn from religion or philosophy, not from science. Science can only tell you the procedure, the process. How? but not why. So there is no kind of conflict here. Another issue in contemporary discussions about Kalam is what religion offers. It's a big question. Intizar as din. What do we expect from religion? Some people say, we expect from religion only the things that we ourselves cannot deal with. For example, they say, we don't expect from religion to tell us how to build roads and bridges. We don't expect religion to tell us about medicine and diet. Now they come further. We don't expect religion to tell us, how to run our economy. They come further. We don't expect religion to tell us, how to avoid crimes. Because all are discussed by social sciences. We don't need religion to tell us how to run our government and make laws. Okay, so where do you need religion? Only on prayer mat. Only in the corner of masjid or church, we need religion, because that is the only thing that our sciences and human experiences cannot help with. But some people even don't let this to remain for religion. Now we have spiritualities without religion, spirituality without God. Even this, they try to say we don't need religion. Our understanding is that it is true that, and I am speaking on behalf of Islam and maybe Abrahamic faith, but I'm not speaking on behalf of any religion in the world, because even they cannot have common definition, or let alone common replies or perspectives. Islam is a religion which helps you to be successful in dunya and akhirah. Islam is not only for akhirah. And obviously it's not only for dunya. It's for dunya and akhirah. And when it comes in dunya, Islam helps you in every aspect of dunya. But in a wise way. In the way that we have learned from Prophet and Ahlul Bayt, and we have seen the history of Islam. Islam doesn't say, we don't need universities, we don't need laboratories, we don't need medical universities, we just read Quran and Hadith and apply them, we don't need anything else. No. When Rasulullah says, "Utlubul ilm walau bisin," it's not for learning religion. You don't need to learn Islam in China. It means any useful science you should be seeking, even if it requires to travel up to China. Muslims have no hesitation in learning and teaching. One of the beautiful points in the history of sciences in Islam is that they were not hesitant to learn, and they were not hesitant to teach. Actually, Islamically, we say zakatul ilmi nashru. Unfortunately, some nations, when they find something, they don't teach you. They put such a high price, which sometimes can be your honor. Either you have to become their servants, they teach you, or you have to come and work with them and they teach you. But Islamically, anything Muslims learned, they put it in the books and spread, because they think this way Allah gives you more knowledge. You cannot have monopoly over knowledge and charge them the price of their life or honor or dignity, or say, you give us, everything that you have so that we teach you a little. Knowledge belongs to humanity. Wisdom belongs to humanity. Any good human being would share what is useful with fellow human beings. So, as Muslims, we are happy to learn any human development in science, in technology, but we believe that Islam has a package for life. Even a scientist can benefit from Islam. A medical doctor, nurse can benefit from Islam. Not by replacing medicine with Islam, but by adding Islamic akhlaq, Islamic approach, Islamic love and charity and ihsan and truthfulness and humility. Imagine if a doctor is humble or not humble. Doesn't make a big difference. A doctor is merciful, is not merciful. Makes a big difference. A student, if has good akhlaq, has a big difference. Let alone politicians. If politicians have good akhlaq, if they feel that they have great responsibility before God, and for every decision they have to answer God, it makes a big difference. So, we believe that religion is not only for worship. Or if you say religion is for worship, we say, okay, but we don't worship God only in the mosque. We worship God in every place. We worship God in our shop. We worship God in our market. We worship God when we are driving, when we are washing, when we are, I don't know, in parliament. If you mean religious worship, you say, okay, so then we worship God everywhere. There is another discussion, what is the core or shell of religion? You know, in Farsi, they say, sadaf wa gohar. Like, you know, you have a pearl, and then you have the shell. Some people say, what is the core of religion? Something that you should not compromise about. And what is the shell that, if needed, maybe you can compromise? It's very difficult, question. But perhaps we can say the core of religion is that submission, is that truthfulness. In some lectures, like indicators of piety, and also akhlaq in the Hose, I have explained that in my understanding, the most fundamental value is truthfulness. And everything goes back to truthfulness. And religion wants us to be truthful. A person who is truthful, first of all, is seeking the truth. And secondly, when he finds the truth, wholeheartedly accepts the truth. You cannot be selective when it comes to truth. You cannot say, I accept truth when it comes from my friends. No, you have to accept truth wherever it comes. Our hadith says, don't look at who speaks, look at what is being said. لا تنظروا إلى من قال. Don't look at who is saying. Maybe someone that you love makes mistake. Look at what has been said. So, for us, the main thing is truth, and we believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is absolute truth. ذَلِكَ بَأَنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْحَقِّ. Allah is the truth, and we should move towards the truth. Every attempt must be at the service of the truth. Allah created the skies and the earth bil-haq, sent the prophets bil-haq, sent Quran bil-haq, and asked the prophet to deliver the message bil-haq. Everything should be bil-haq, at the service of the truth. So if we summarize religion in one thing, we can say religion is the art of being in compliance with the truth. And now you can appreciate what we have about Amirul Mu'mineen. Aliyun ma'al haq wal haqqu ma'a Ali. If you have only one concern in your life, and that is to follow the truth, then you can reach the point that people, by looking at you, can understand what is true. Because you have not had any aim other than the truth. So you become like an indicator of the truth for other people. This is what a Muslim should be. A Muslim tries to find the truth and then show other people the truth. Like a compass. Yeah. If you take a compass, like Qibla Nama, we say, yeah? If you take it and go to another room, the arrow first takes a little time to find the directions, and then points at, for example, north or Qibla. I believe a mu'min is like this. You take a mu'min from, for example, Middle East or Africa or any part of the world, and bring it to the West. Maybe for a few days is observing what centers are here, which people are here, which scholar. It takes time going around. Then find the best people to associate with. And then people, by looking at this person, can find out what direction they should have. A mu'min can never be in vacuum. You cannot be a mu'min and be on your own. You have to always find your awliya. Yeah? Your awliya you have to find. Another issue is, what is the language of religion? This is a very important topic today. Language of religion. Some people say religious language is just symbolic. These are just symbols. They don't indicate necessarily the truth. They're symbols. They say because they are symbolic, you don't expect them to be completely truthful or in compliance with science. Maybe you find in a religious text something against science. Maybe you find something against, I don't know, logic or reason. No problem. You just try to get this gist of it, the core message of it. Don't be literal. Symbolic. And sometimes, they say, for example, Allah talks about heaven and hell. Just, this can be symbolic. The story of Adam can be symbolic. If we go this route, it's very dangerous. Because anything that you don't like, you can say, this is symbolic. There is a very important question here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the same language that we use. Quran is بِاللِّسَانٍ عَرَبِيٍّ مُبِينٍ. Yeah? Clear Arabic language. Allah has used Arabic to speak to us. Of course, Allah has used also other languages to speak. مَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ رَسُولٍ إِلَّا بِاللِّسَانِ قَوْمِهِ. Every prophet spoke the language of the people to whom he was sent. And if he was given a book, the book also was in the language of those people. Allah uses language that people speak. In the case of Islam, Allah used Arabic to speak to us. If He uses Arabic language, so He has to use Arabic grammar. an Arabic vocabulary and has to use it in the way that ordinary Arab people can understand. It doesn't make sense that he uses a language, but he doesn't mean what people of that language understand. If there is an exceptional case that we know this means differently, that's exception. And there must be evidence. For example, Allah says, جَاءَ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا. Your Lord and the angels came in rows. Okay, we know that your Lord came doesn't mean that Allah came from a far and remote place to a near place. Ja'a means Ja'a amru rabbika, because we know that Allah doesn't move from one place to another place. This is not a problem because everyone knows that this cannot be taken literally. And the Quran itself is clear that لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. No one is like God. Or when Allah says Yadullah fawqa aydihim, God's hand is above their hands. We know that hand here doesn't mean physical hand. But still we use hand, and people of language understand because they themselves also use hand, sometimes in the sense of power. Yeah? You cannot use something else because in that culture they use hand for power. You cannot say Allah's hair is above their hair. You have to say Allah's hand is above their hand. Yeah? Or can I say Allah's nose is above their nose? No. Hand, although is used here, not literally, but it's according to the language. Actually, some ulama, I don't want to go into that discussion in Usul al-Fiqh, we said that actually some ulama believe that even in metaphoric language, we use it literally. You know, Sakaki has this opinion, and some of our ulama have accepted, that when we say, for example, I saw a lion, and I mean brave man, some people say lion means brave man, but some ulama said no, lion means lion. And the whole beauty is that you use lion in the sense of lion, but you mean lion has two types of cases. An animal or a human being who is brave. Anyway, we have to speak according to the language that people are speaking. We cannot create our own language. So, language of religion has to be the same language that people understand, but when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or some concepts which are transcendent, you have to be very careful. You must be careful not to liken Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to physical objects. You must not liken Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to a human being and think that he is a superhuman being, or he's a human being in the sky. Therefore, we have this concept of tanzih. We say Allah is knowledgeable, but not like our knowledge. Yeah, His knowledge is not by, learning, asking question, reading, putting evidence together, thinking. He doesn't have mind like us. He doesn't use concepts like us, but he has knowledge. What is the core of knowledge? He has it. He has life, but his life is not like us. His life is not based on eating and drinking and reproduction and breathing, but he has life, means he has understanding, he has power, he has will. So this is about the language of religion. We have issue of pluralism. We believe that there is certainly diversity, plurality of religions, in the sense that people have different beliefs. We also believe that it's possible that different religions and different religious claims have some element of truth. It's not that only one religion has 100% truth and anything else is 100% false. Even inside the same religion, people can have different portion of truth. Maybe some Muslims disagree with each other. It's not that every Muslim or every Christian, has the same share of the truth. what is important is, in order to have chance for salvation, at least some level of truth, some basic truths must be there if you want to have salvation in the sense of going to heaven. The Quran says the basic truths that you need to have for salvation is man amana billahi wal yawm al akhir wa amila salihan. If you believe in one God and in the hereafter and do righteous deeds, then you can go to heaven. You can be a Muslim, you can be a Christian. What is important is that between you and God, you must look for the truth. You must search for the truth. You must surrender yourself to the will of God. Maybe you are a Sunni or Shia. Maybe you are Christian or Muslim. What is important is that Allah looks into the heart of people and finds that heart either is looking for the truth or is biased, is humble or arrogant. So, this is why we believe that maybe someone is not aware and does not believe, but can be excused. You know, we have two types of jahl. Jahil qasir, jahil muqassir. Sometimes a person doesn't know, but he couldn't know. Sometimes a person doesn't know, but he could know. These are not the same. If you want more in discussion about divine justice, Ayatollah Mutahhari has discussed, and we had also a course on that. I wanted to talk about meaning of life, about religion and reason, religion and akhlaq, religion and science, but time is over. But I think we gave a little introduction to these topics. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us have in all affairs of our life centrality of the truth as our main concern. We ask Allah to make us truthful people and with the truthful people. اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين إن شاء الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين.